All right, fellas, this is a big one. So if you were to guess, what percentage of guys would you say are drifting through life pretty much on autopilot? Because if I had to guess, I would say it's the majority, 80, maybe even 90%. And I talk to a lot of guys who don't talk about anything deeper than the surface level stuff to most people in their life. You know, the typical, did you see the game Sunday? How about this weather? The typical shit. And a lot feel numb. They feel like they're living like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. They lack meaning. They lack goals. They lack clear vision. They lack a mission. They dread the alarm clock every Monday. They get up. They rely on caffeine or nicotine or both to get them through the day. They come home, they turn on the TV, they grab something quick to eat, and they drown themselves in something mindless and meaningless. Social media, sports highlights, Netflix, whatever it be. A lot of dudes just feel stuck, and that's their life. And I don't know if that's you. Maybe it is to a small degree. Maybe it is to the nth degree. But if a lot of the time you feel like your life just isn't exciting, that you're living in some pretty dull existence with little or no idea of what you're really here to do, what you're here to change, that's not a weird feeling, and you're not the minority. From talking to and coaching thousands of guys over the past many years, and you know what, just 100 years ago, it was fine because we had stuff that consumed us just to get through the day, just to support our family, just to survive. But today, a lot of our basic needs and a lot of the necessities are looked after for us. We have so much more time and accessibility to do and access whatever we want. We have so much option. The power is limitless. We can do literally anything. So why don't we? Why are we more depressed, anxious, miserable than we've ever been? Well, because it's become so fucking easy to stay distracted and stay in our warm little cocoon of comfort, to stay comfortably numb. It's not easy to choose the hard thing when we've been choosing the easy thing for years with little consequence. But there is a consequence to choosing that life. We constantly are seeking any quick fix of dopamine pleasure that we can get our hands on just so we can feel something. Liquor, drugs, nicotine, caffeine, video games, Instagram, TikTok, Tinder, porn, processed food, fast food, fantasy football. The list is endless, you guys. And it seems harmless at the time. And I'm not saying it's not okay to have hobbies, but there's way too many guys living for TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Wishing away 5 of their 7 days of the week so they can finally hit happy hour or let loose just so they can feel something for a couple days or a couple hours before another miserable Monday. We paralyze ourselves with distractions to make life feel busy, like to make life just feel like it has some meaning, rather than ever taking the necessary steps it would take to have control of our life and our future. But the guys I see who do have amazing lives, who do have purpose, the guys who actually do change, only do it if they get this one thing crystal clear. They know that to change their life, they must change their actions, which sounds nice. That sounds like it could be a bumper sticker. But here's where most get it wrong, because to change your life, you gotta first change your thinking. You gotta change your thoughts. Our thoughts become our actions and our beliefs in time, and this becomes our identity. It becomes who we are. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I can get you to lose some weight. I can get you to build some muscle, to look a lot better. But if you're still the same guy up here and the same 70,000 daily thoughts are running through your head subconsciously on autopilot and you're doing the same things, you won't actually ever change the way that you could or that you want to. When you no longer think the same, when you no longer identify with the old guy who was stuck and the old guy who was drifting, it becomes impossible to continue living that old way. Your thoughts are the only thing that you have 100% control of. We don't control much in this life, and your thoughts will define who you can be, who you will be. So guys, this video is really about challenging you to get clear and just make some things clear. What do you want out of life? What do you want your identity to be? Who do you want to be known as? Because after you determine this, the work then begins to make it the very core of our being. And when you do it, it becomes impossible to act or to continue making bad choices and decisions that are out of alignment from who you actually believe yourself to be. It's kind of like The goal is never to go for a run. The goal is to become a runner. The goal should never be to just make $100,000 or $1 million. The goal should be to become financially savvy and free. Having an identity is about understanding who you are, who you want to be, and beginning to think and act in complete alignment with that guy. Because you know what? You can tell the world you're going to be a millionaire, you're going to do all these great, amazing things. But if deep down you're still identifying either consciously or subconsciously with the guy who got fired from his last job, or his girlfriend left him, or you don't feel good enough, or you feel like you're the guy with bad genetics who was never meant to be in shape, if you have that belief, it doesn't matter. You're going to continue to act out your life that way. You can't fake it long term. Your identity, your thoughts, who you believe you are will always translate into the life that you end up with ultimately. So I challenge you, do some thinking, grab a piece of paper and a pen, write this shit down. What do you really want out of your life? Get to work on what changes you will need to make to become that guy. Because truly changing your life isn't about just changing the way you eat or cutting calories or losing some weight or some stupid short-term diet. It only happens when you shift into a new identity. And to do that, fellas, you must get crystal clear on what the fuck it is you want out of this life and constantly have it in your scope, highly aware of your thoughts, your actions, moving towards it step by step. It goes way beyond basic goal setting. It's about creating a vision that fills you with some sort of purpose, adding excitement to your everyday existence. Because men, we're biologically hardwired to thrive, and only thrive when we're building, when we're creating. We need to feel progress to be happy. And when we have a fucking mission, we're just better humans. And it's my guess, if you're like 90% of the guys that I've coached, that a lot of your daily habits, your environment, the things that you are giving your brain as daily inputs, probably doesn't actually align with a guy you really want to be. And you know that. And once you make the shift and you're on that mission, it's going to feel unbearable to live or even tolerate your old habits, your old patterns, hell, even the old friends and the old conversations that used to take up space in your life. When you wake up in the morning, I want you to know exactly what your day's mission, your day's purpose is. You should know exactly what you're going to do today to move the needle just an inch closer to where you want to be, the guy you want to get to. Fill your day with the things you know will offer the greatest rewards long term, because you can largely judge a person based on three things: what they do on their daily basis, who they spend their time with, and what they spend their time focusing on. And it's these three things that will come together and they're going to form your identity. They're going to form who you are. And if you're spending time doing shit you know doesn't matter or move you closer to who you want to be, if you spend time with people you know aren't going anywhere or want the same things you want, if you waste your focus on video games or Netflix series or just meaningless distractions, what do you really expect your identity is going to be? It's going to be one that's shallow, empty, meaningless, unfulfilled. And the greatest asset to attracting more good into your life is through your identity. When you know who you are and you know your fucking mission, it's attractive. Not just attractive to women, but it's attractive to everybody and everything. It's the law of attraction. Other people know you're on a mission. Other people on a mission recognize you and what you're doing. Good things start to happen for you. When you're on a mission, it becomes a hell of a lot easier to be confident and secure in what makes you you, what makes you a high value man. Having a clear and powerful identity is what makes you authentic. In a world full of sheep and people just following the agenda. And you know what? It took me years to really nail this down and figure some of this stuff out. But to realize your potential as a man, you have to figure out your identity. You have to create it. Because if you're not where you want to be right now, if you're a little stuck, you feel depressed, anxious, just fed up with life not going the way you wished it had, I can 100% guarantee it's got something to do with an identity problem. You know who you want to be. You know what that guy needs to do, how that guy should act, but you're not doing it. You're letting your thoughts get hijacked. Your vision is cloudy at best. You lack the conviction. And it's not for me to tell you who you should want to be, how you need to act, or how you should act. That's yours to tackle. Your identity has to come from within. The way you act, what you do on a daily basis should be completely congruent with your true inner personality. And this is part of the reason I see so many guys anxious, depressed, miserable, but they let themselves be guided and controlled by comfort and distraction and pleasures. And the longer you live in that cycle, like any habit, the harder and harder it gets and the more uncomfortable it becomes to actually break out of that pattern. And I see a lot of guys trying to create an identity with things, with stuff. They'll buy the Rolex, the fancy car, the latest thing, the clothes, trying to portray an image of an identity, all the while doing nothing to actually change. And it's human nature to follow the herd. It's easy to think that feeling needed or happy can be found in fitting in and playing nice, conforming to whatever people or whatever society tells you you should be. But it's bullshit. When you depend on the herd for your sense of validation, you can't create a real identity. You're not creating an identity. You're simply borrowing somebody else's. Now, I'm not against buying the Rolex or getting the car you want. I'm all for it. But if you're doing it and it's not aligned with who you actually are, it's not going to work. You know, I usually wear nice sunglasses and have a certain style or look, I guess, because over the years, I've noticed what makes me feel best in my own skin and what I believe projects my personality and my identity. You'll never see me wearing three-piece suits or, having piercings all over my face or a lot of things, not because those things aren't fine, but because they're not me. So to reshape your life, you need to reshift into a new identity. Some of you might need to find it altogether because you really don't know who you are anymore. Or right now. Our current identity is often one that's been forced upon us through society. It's not who we truly are. So what I'm asking you to do in this video is become aware of some stuff and start being aware of your thoughts, the actions, the patterns of your life that you're allowing, and start creating more that reflect where you actually want to go, what you need to change. And once you do, the more you work at it, it will become easier. It will become second nature, and it'll become unnatural to live in any way that isn't aligned with that guy. And you might need to dig deep here. What does your ego want of you? Stop repressing your ambitions. Stop convincing yourself that you can't do or have whatever, those things. Start with finding some clarity. If you're following the Modern Alpha Project, amazing. You're obviously wanting to change something about your life, your physique. You want to get healthy. You want to start feeling better. You want to start feeling unstoppable, have the confidence again, which is at least some clarity. That's a great place to start. Being here is a big start, but keep going. Start becoming highly aware and in tune of your thoughts. Don't let negativity creep in. Start letting autopilot take over, because a completely different life, the life that you want, is truly one decision away. Decide, and from today forward, the choices you make need to dictate your life. They need to be authentic with that identity that you want. They should be driven by the clarity of your vision and your purpose and, your dreams. Your identity is everything, fellas. So don't take it lightly. Convey it with the food you put in your mouth. Respect yourself, like the media, the entertainment you consume, the people you allow in your life, in your world, the way you choose to dress, the way your physical presence, your physique. These things are all important, and they shape who you are and who you will be. I want you to really dissect your life and what you could change to align more with where you want to go, who you want to be. Think about the details of that guy, the guy you would be most comfortable and most confident becoming. Think about, how does that guy talk? How does that guy dress? What hobbies does that guy do? Who does that guy spend time with? What does that guy spend time mastering, learning? And I understand, as guys, we got to wear different hats in our lives. For 8 hours a day, you might be the entrepreneur or the accountant or whatever. And on the weekends, you might be the devoted family man, or you might be the life of the party guy. It doesn't really matter. It's what sits right with you. I'm not here to tell you what's right or wrong, but it is important to know who you are. And it doesn't matter if you work 50 hours a week as an accountant, but you really love traveling and surfing and golfing. Consider your identity to be the adventurous world traveler, semi-pro golfer, not some number crunching accountant. Your job doesn't have to determine the person that you are. Your identity is formed by the things you enjoy doing and what you focus on, the things that really make you feel alive. Again, this is your life. It's your identity. I'm just here to get you guys thinking, nudging you in a different direction, which might feel uncomfortable at first. It's always going to. And I hope you sit with some of this. I hope you grab that pen and paper, write some of this stuff down, cut out a hour or two distraction free. Go deep on thinking about some of this stuff. And you know what? It's going to help you long term. Peace out, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.